Golfers Dean with golfallyear.com, and today is going to be my video that I've been kind of waiting to do so that I could hit on the Garmin R10 enough to kind of get an idea which would I prefer, the Garmin R10 or the Optishot. And so this is going to be my comparison, my top 5 reasons why I would choose the Optishot. Now, with that said, this is my opinion. With that, I am about an 8 handicap. So take that into consideration here. And so if you're a really extreme low handicap, things would probably be different for me. But with a 8 handicap or above, this is what I feel. I would choose the Optishot. And here are my top 5 reasons why. Okay, so my top reason why I would choose the Optishot over the R10 is in the stats and improvement. And yes, the Garmin R10 does track a lot more stats. But what I have found is that, to really improve, you got to focus on certain things, especially higher handicaps. You can't focus on all the different stats and try to piece it together and figure it out unless you're dealing with a pro that's going to look through all that stuff. If you are trying to improve on your own and you are working on your game, I think the Optishot provides you a much clearer and easy way to improvement. I say that because there are fewer stats that are you're going to be tracking. And the key stats that I think in my golf swing and my improvement from about a 15 handicap to an 8 was in concentrating on the club face angle and the swing path. And with those two, I think the Optishot does a really good job of taking those stats and giving you a clear idea of what you're doing. It's easier to read the stats also, I think, on the Optishot. When they say open 2 degrees, you know that your club face is open, as opposed to the R10, which has a degree and then an L or an R. You just have to think about it. And the swing path is different. It has an L and an R also, but you have to think about it different. Is that inside out? And so it just takes a little bit more effort to figure out how to improve. And so by having fewer stats, the Optishot tracks club face angle, swing path, your tempo. It does track ball speed, club head speed. I don't think it's super accurate in terms of that. And then it also tracks your distances and things like that. But if you can really focus on your swing path and club face angle, I think you can improve your golf game. And so that's one reason why I think the stats really will help you. Also, the Optishot has a cool driving range in which you have target practice, where they have circles that you can try to get inside, and it'll give you your percentages of how you did in that session on hitting inside those circles. So you can really challenge yourself trying to get it inside 15 feet or inside 30 feet. And so you can really focus on the clubs that you need to hit really close. Your short irons, you can really focus on trying to get it within that 15-foot range. And for your longer irons, maybe it's the 30-foot range. And it gives you those percentages, which I really think helps. And then when you pull out your driver, you can put the lines down so you can see if you're hitting the fairway or not. And I really like that on the driving range, because now you can really kind of tell, what percentages are you missing your fairway? And are you missing it by a long shot? If you get way outside the lines. And so the Garmin R10 doesn't do that. You see the trajectory and you can look at the distance off each way, but it's just much harder, much more difficult, and it doesn't track the averages of your swing path and your club face angle either. And so it doesn't track those in terms of average. With the Optishot, you can track your swing path and your club face angle and all your stats for the session, for the week, for the month, and all time. And so you can really kind of see improvement. With the R10, it's just not as easy. It doesn't do that. It doesn't have averages. And so you have to scroll through each shot. You can see each shot and what it does, but you have to kind of scroll through it, and there's no way to really track your improvement as easily as with the Optishot. And I also don't like the stats on the Garmin R10, because you really have to scroll through and get to get any of the other stats you want to get. Now, I have mentioned before in some of my videos that you can narrow it down to 3 or 4 stats, which I think is helpful. But the issue we'll talk about when we talk about accuracy is the swing path and club face angle are not very accurate with the R10. They do an okay job, but it tracks the ball, so it doesn't really know what the club is doing. And that's why I like the Optishot, because it tracks the club, and I think it's pretty accurate on those two things, the club face angle and swing path. So for improvement, I really like the Optishot over and the stats the Optishot gives and the way that you're able to read them, the Optishot over the R10. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is just in the setup and the ease of use of the Optishot. For me, I think it's just so much easier to plug in my computer into the swing mat, the swing pad for the Optishot, and get on there and get into the software and go, as opposed to the R10, which the setup is very, kind of cumbersome, in which you have to make sure you're a certain distance behind. You have to make sure you have a certain distance in front. You got to hold the button and then find the green light and then wait for the green light and things like that. That I think just make it and the other piece is in the setup. It's on your phone. I like it being on my desktop and to be able to do it. Now I know you can get E6 on the desktop. When I first started, I had the Android phone and I couldn't connect to the desktop for E6. But that's another story. I just like the simplicity of the Optishot. I've done a video on how fast it takes me to actually set up and get out and hit, and it's very short. So check out that video. Maybe I'll put it down in the description. So it doesn't take me long to set it up. I think it takes you longer to set up the R10, and even outside, you got to make sure it's lined up correctly also. And so there's an issue with it being the right height, and an issue of that line being in the correct direction, and so you have to get a pointer out, and I just think it's more complicated to set up the R10 than it is the Optishot. I also like the idea that you get a swing pad with the Optishot. I don't have to go out and buy another mat to hit off of and a stance mat. So for the Optishot, you got everything kind of right there, and so it's really easy to use. I mentioned that I like using it on the computer. The other piece that I don't like is, I like the R10 for being portable and being outside. But the issue is when I'm outside, now I'm using my phone and I have to look on my phone. You can't project it, what I want to do. And so I just think for, the ease of setup of the Optishot, I think, it's great for the mid to high handicappers. Maybe a low handicapper, you want to take that time and get that, I want to get out there, hit some balls, have some fun, and go do it and try to improve that way. And so I think it's just easier to set up with the Optishot. You also will see that, with the Optishot, you're not getting as many shots that don't register. The Garmin R10, a lot of shots won't register. Either I'm too quick in my backswing, or I'm too, I don't wait till the green light turns, the R10 turns green, and so I hit it, and then nothing will happen, and I'll go what? And so it just the setup has to be perfect, and you have to make sure that you waggle correctly to get that green light all the time, and I think you don't get as many shots that don't register. The Optishot, usually the shots will register. Occasionally you get one that doesn't, but they'll at least register something. And that's very frustrating with the R10 when you hit a shot and you think you hit a good one and it doesn't register. So that's another thing with the setup that I really prefer the Optishot over it. So there's number two. Third reason why I choose the Optishot, and you may kind of look at me like I'm crazy, but the accuracy. The accuracy of the Optishot isn't the best. I'm not claiming it. It only tracks the club, so you're not going to get as accurate as shots. But the R10 I've found to not be as accurate, and many of my people that have commented also don't say that it's accurate in terms of distance. And that bothers me because it's tracking the ball as opposed to the Optishot, which is tracking the club. But then you're not getting an accurate ball reading. The spin is calculated, so the distance could be off. You also have an issue with low trajectory shots. I found that, and many people have found this, that it's 10 to 20 yards short on distance. And that's a big deal because you can't adjust it. So you're always going to be 10 to 20 yards short with the R10. With the Optishot, you can figure out your distances and then you can kind of adjust the Optishot. I got a bunch of videos on how to adjust and set it up so it is accurate for you and you can get it to be accurate for your shots. And so if you're curious about how far you're hitting the ball, the R10, I would get into different launch mode. I would get the PRGR for $200, or I'd get the the Swing Caddy, Voice Caddy for $300, as opposed to getting the R10 because I think those are more accurate in terms of distance. And so I just like the idea that I can get my Optishot and kind of tune my Optishot to be accurate to my distances as much as possible, and then get the stats of club face angle and swing path that are really accurate. The accuracy on the club path and swing path, club face angle and swing path of the R10, I'm not sure is as accurate as the Optishot. And so, if I'm maybe if I'm a low handicapper, I want all those other stats and I want to make sure it tracks the ball, but I'm just not sold on the accuracy of the R10. And so therefore I choose to be able to adjust the accuracy a little bit better with the Optishot. The fourth reason that I prefer the Optishot is for the support. The support of Optishot is one company. They do a pretty good job of getting back to you. I've had, I've emailed them, and because I don't think they're as big a company, they have people that are there to help with the Optishot. With the R10, I don't think they have many people that have actually played. They have a lot of support, but a lot of them have not played either golf or have not even tried the R10. So they're giving you support, but they're not experts at it, and they haven't even played it. And so it really became frustrating for me talking to them. I had to talk to a bunch of people and find the right person at Garmin. And even that it's such a new product that many of them haven't tried out different things. So because it's new and because you have to deal with some people that haven't played golf, maybe it becomes hard. Also, you have to deal with two companies. If you're using E6, you now have to deal with E6 and Garmin and figure out which company you need to talk to for your problem. And I had an issue where E6 said it was a Garmin issue and Garmin said it was an E6 issue. And so I'm like in the middle. The forums for Garmin are all over the place. With Optishot, you can kind of go there. I've done a bunch of videos on Optishot, so you can use my my YouTube channel as a resource if you need it. And they also have a really good support if you just go to Optishot, their help desk. And so with Garmin, I'm all over the place, and I've heard different things from different people. I finally, I got on the right forum and finally figured out how to get something connected with the R10, but it took me a while, and it's just a lot more hoops to jump through. I think Garmin's a great company. I think they figure out a lot of stuff, and they're going to, at some point, I think the R10 can really be a good device. But right now, in terms of support, I choose Optishot. Another factor in the accuracy of the R10 that I don't really like is that you're dealing with two different software, two different pieces of software, because you're dealing with the Garmin software of the R10, and then if you're using E6 and you use the E6 range, those are different. They take the data from the R10 and then they adjust it and calculate it on their own. So you could get two different distances. And I haven't really done enough tests with that to know. Maybe some of you have, if they're exactly accurate. And if I'm dealing with that, I kind of, you kind of want that to be accurate. And I don't think you can adjust it like you can with the Optishot. Lastly, The reason I'm choosing Optishot would be the price. You know, I thought that the R10, because of it being a launch monitor and a simulator, that price was it. I think they priced it at the right price because they're under SkyTrack and Mevo Plus, which is 2000. They're just above some of the launch monitors because they're $600. They're just above some of the launch monitors out there, so they're kind of in that middle because they're trying to do a launch monitor and simulator. With Optishot, I think you can get it for $350. I got mine way back when at 300. I think the price has gone up, but I think you can get it $350 to $400 as opposed to the 600. And then with the 600, now you're talking E6. And if you want to do you get more courses, now you're going $300 more and a subscription a year. And so that can be kind of pricey. I know some people that have SkyTrack that have E6 and they don't want to spend that $300, because it's an extra $300 a year. And then if you want to do Home T, Hero, you got another $100 a year. So you're increasing those your price and your cost over the course of each year that you use the R10. As opposed to the Optishot, yeah, you want to do some online stuff, it's $50. I thought that was pretty cool. I did it for a while. It's not my favorite, but if you like trying to compete for some prizes and play some rounds against people, you can do that. And then the only other thing is the courses, and that's $30 a course if you want to get a new course. And since they give me 15, I don't really need new courses with the Optishot. With R10, you get 5 courses if you're Apple, if you have an iPhone, and if you're an Android user, tough luck. You're going to have to buy, the desktop version or something else. So they're not giving that right now. So if you're an Android user, tough. I would definitely go Optishot if I'm an Android user. If you're, have an iPhone, then you get 5 courses. But now if you want to upgrade and get more courses, it's going to cost you more money per month or per year. So I just think because of the price, Optishot's price lower. The Garmin, you're pushing, also for a new mat and things like that, you're pushing that price up with the Garmin R10. All right, golfers, so there you have it. From an 8 handicap who has improved using the Optishot. I've hit on the Optishot a lot more, and I was really excited about the R10. If you've seen any of my first videos on the R10, you know that I thought it was a game changer. I thought, man, this is what it is. I went out and got it right away. And if I was to do it over again, I probably would stick with the Optishot. And I would wait till Garmin really figures things out. And I have a feeling there's going to be another company coming in that same price range, maybe competing with Garmin and really pushing them. So I would wait. I would go with the Optishot, and have fun with that. Now, if I'm a lower handicap, things may be different, and if I want to video my swing and send it to a pro and have that stuff, I might choose the R10. But as a mid handicapper who has improved using the Optishot, I know you can improve using the Optishot for the ease of use, for some of the setup stuff and the accuracy and the stats that you get with the Optishot. Yeah, it's not the most accurate thing in the world. You're going to hit shots that you're going to have to re-hit, but you mishit them. So just hit a mulligan and re-hit it. It's not perfect. The Optishot is not perfect, but for the price, I think it's a pretty darn good simulator for what you are looking for. So hope that helps. Take it for what it is. Let me know what you think down below. Have you had experience with the R10 and the Optishot? Many people don't like the Optishot. That's fine. I just think that if you focus on certain things and have some fun with it, you can hit a lot of balls and get better. Let me know. Hit that subscribe button. Right, click the notifications. I'll be doing more videos down the road.